Hello, and welcome back to the channel. This is Orioles Today, where I am dropping brand new content every single day on all things the Baltimore Orioles. As always, I am Sean Ferguson. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my latest video. It is off-season time. It is free agency time. There is so much to get into with, again, the free agents, qualifying offers, team and player options, accepted, not accepted. There's just so much to get into. And as an Orioles fan, we have a team here with so much money to spend with a brand new owner. Will they spend it? Probably not. They fill us full of false hope. But again, for your daily notifications on each one of these video drops that are going to be packed with a lot of info, please subscribe to the channel. It truly means a lot, especially with everyone that has really helped me so far to get this channel off the ground, up and running. It's truly meant a lot. So thank you guys so much for that, and continue to tune into each and every video drop. It will be daily because, like I just said, the offseason is here, free agency is here. And as an Orioles fan, a guy who's usually full of false hope, just like most of us are, because we have all this money to spend and we now have a brand new owner who has, it feels like, even more money to spend. They're still spending it in the wrong places or not spending it at all. So I know the last couple of videos I'm touching on guys that I think we should go after, but I definitely wanted to start here, and that was with our owner, David Rubenstein, who in the press conference of our brand new manager, Craig Albernaz, stated, and I quote, "We have no particular restraints this year on spending, and we are going to try to get the best players," end quote. The Orioles are projected to have, I believe it was the 28th payroll in the league, which is normal for the Orioles. We are usually one of the last teams in payroll each and every year, with usually the Rays and the Pirates. So that part's not surprising. It's just frustrating because you now have this guy that's saying, yeah, I have all this money, and you know he has all this money. And I don't know if it's they don't want to get snake bitten again. The Chris Davis contract was abysmal. They signed O'Neill last year, which they shouldn't have. He made way too much money, and he's still making too much money after accepting and opting into the final 2 years of his deal. So I don't know. I don't know if the Elias magic is gone or he's being told what to do, which is probably the right answer. But the O's have to spend, and there's a lot of guys out there, especially veteran talent, good veteran talent that would fit in on this team full of young guys that you can go get that wouldn't break the bank and would make a lot of sense. You know, signing Tyler O'Neill to a 3-year, $50 million deal, that didn't make sense. He was an injury-prone guy that wasn't very proven, so you bring him in and he does the same thing he was doing with Boston, and that's get hurt and not produce. So it stunk seeing Anthony Santander go. They could have kept him without shelling out a ton of money, and we could have avoided this whole O'Neill thing. And Santander was kind of a glue guy there too, so seeing him go made a lot of sense to one part of the reason why the Orioles struggled so bad last year. You just didn't feel that cohesion. It didn't feel like it's felt the last couple of years. So Rubenstein has the money, and he just said that there's no restraints. Now, he could just be saying that, which he probably is, to make this entire Orioles fan base, including myself, not get frustrated, saying, spend your money. He's like, no, we got it, we'll spend it. But saying it and doing it is two different things. And again, there's so many guys out there that the Orioles could turn their focus to and go after this offseason, because there are some glaring holes that I have already touched on in a few of these videos, and that is the arms. And I know you guys are saying that there's bats they need to go after too. Their offense struggled. Absolutely. Their offense struggled. They got rid of Cody Ash, who was their lead hitting coach, so it's going to be interesting to see who fills that hole. But bats is just one part of it. The arms is massive, just because of how vastly different the starting rotation was last year compared to the year before, mainly due to injuries. And now Eflin is one of those guys who most likely won't be there again for the Orioles this year. Tomoyuki Sugano, most likely not going to be there. The one familiar face that you're going to have there is Trevor Rogers. Hopefully Kyle Bradish stays healthy and he can start the year with Rogers there too. But what's going to happen to the rest of that rotation? Is Grayson Rodriguez going to be healthy? Is John Means ever going to pitch again? What about Tyler Wells? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? What are you doing with Dean Kramer? Is he going to continue to stay there and just kind of be a back-end rotation guy, which wouldn't hurt? One guy the Orioles could go after and they could afford just became available that many people, including myself, didn't believe he would become available, and that's Shota Imanaga. Trying to pronounce that correct. He had his team option declined, and then he declined his own player option with the Chicago Cubs. And again, this is a guy that many didn't believe would become a free agent. And nothing stellar. He went 9-8. He had a 3.73 ERA. And I think the big reason of why they were okay with letting him go was just kind of his decline in the second half of the season last year. Coming since 2024, I should say, a 3.28 ERA. And he's been pretty consistent except for the way that he finished last season. And they're not thrilled with his postseason play as well. He's only 32 years old. And the deal he signed with Chicago initially, it was a very complicated contract. Go look at it when you have a chance. But the initial contract was a 4-year, $54 million deal. That's not breaking the bank, and I do think the Orioles can get him without overpaying. I know there's going to be other teams that need him, or not need him, but want him due to their injuries, and they could use a middle-of-the-rotation guy as well that the Orioles definitely need. They really need that middle-of-the-rotation guy, and Imanaga could be that guy without breaking the bank. He can even fill into the number 2 spot, number 3 spot where you need him, and I don't even think you have to give up $54 million to get him. You could sign him to a shorter-term deal with a team or player option after that. But I would love to see them at least be in the rumor mill for this guy. It makes no sense if they weren't. Now, the Cubs could still throw a qualifying offer at him. We will see. I just don't feel like they would, especially since they declined and he declined. It kind of feels like that relationship is kind of over. But you never know. It's professional sports. Anything can happen with these contracts. So I would love to see the Orioles go after Imanaga. I know there's other guys too, and I've touched on it in the last couple of my videos, but let me know what you guys think about if the Orioles should go after him, if it's worth it. Okay, I'm not saying he's going to be the Orioles ace, but he would definitely solve a problem in the middle of that rotation. And I know I said I was going to touch on bats that the Orioles needed to go grab. And the only reason I'm touching on this one is because, again, I know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the penny-pinching Baltimore Orioles, even with their brand new owner. But, man, how great would it be to go get Pete Alonso? The Orioles are kind of in that rumor mill with him. There's a few AL East teams right now. The one team I'm seeing the most, I should say, is the Boston Red Sox of being kind of a favorite to go get him. But the Baltimore Orioles are being swirling around in there because, yes, I know first base is one of those things that's starting to get log jammed. But there's a lot of talk about the Orioles moving away from Ryan Mountcastle and sending him elsewhere, which you could get if you want to go starting rotation, a bullpen prospects for him. That's something you could do to free up another spot at first base, and then you could put a big guy like Pete Alonso there. It would be great, but you would have to break the bank for this guy, as he quickly optioned out of his contract with the New York Mets when their season was over. So it doesn't seem like he's going to have anything to do with the Mets anytime soon. But he batted .275, 38 home runs, and 126 RBIs last year. Why wouldn't you want that? The only reason you wouldn't want that is because either one, you can't afford it, or two, it's just, is it worth it? And again, I stated earlier in this video, the Orioles have been snake bitten with first base contracts. They're going to be haunted by that Chris Davis contract till almost 2040 due to the way that contract was staggered. So are they going to pay even bigger for another guy? Probably not. But again, a guy can hope. There's other guys out there the Orioles could go get. I would love to see, I don't know, maybe an Alex Bregman, a guy you wouldn't have to spend as much money on if you went after Pete Alonso. I know I was reading some of your comments. A lot of you guys said, get Bregman. Why not? Get another depth guy. You have a lot of this young talent, a lot of these farm system guys. Go get some veteran talent that's proven worthy of a bigger deal. That will make a difference for you guys. You're coming off a season where you finished 12 games below 500. Spend a little. Go get a Pete Alonso. You're not going to. But maybe think about an Alex Bregman. That will make me feel good. Go get one of those guys that are available right now. And I don't know. I think you see, you go get a guy like that and you start to see a lot of other dominoes fall. And as much as I want Alonso on this team, I just don't see that happening. Not only don't I see Pete Alonso happening, I just don't see a lot of these other guys happening. It's just, it's again, with everything I'm going over today, it's given us a lot of false hope. David Rubenstein saying there's no restrictions, there's no cap. We're going to, we want to get the best guys. You got guys like Imanaga available. You got guys like Alonso and Bregman. You got these guys available. But I just don't see them spending the money on that. And more of why I don't see guys, more of a reason why I don't see them going after guys like that is moves they've already made, bringing back these veteran guys that they're familiar with in the back of their bullpen. And they just claimed George Soriano off of waivers from the Miami Marlins, and they designated Daniel Johnson, which he wasn't doing much with us at all. He wasn't a guy that was really fitting in, more just a depth guy. And that's probably what George Soriano is going to do for us. He's another depth guy that the Orioles are going to bring on. And he was up and down, Soriano, from the Marlins to the minors the last 2 or 3 years. And it's another frustrating signing. It's nothing pretty or nothing to write home about. It's just the Orioles signing depth at this point. And with a lot of these guys that the Orioles are bringing on and claiming off of waivers, it's making it more and more realistic that they're not going to shell out the money for some of these bigger name guys that you would love to see that would make more of an impact on the roster. So it really right now feels like the same old thing with David Rubenstein. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully over the next couple of days, the Orioles are in the rumor mill more and they actually make a couple of big splashes. They also just recently brought Tavares, over from the Seattle Mariners. They signed him to a 1-year, $2 million deal, and that's looking like that's just a depth pickup as well for your outfield with O'Neill out there and Cowser and Beavers and Carlson. You bring in Tavares, who his production has slipped massively. So again, that could be just a defensive pickup. And again, you continue to bring on guys like this and you continue to give out these small contracts, adding these guys to the 40-man roster and doing all these waiver claims. You're adding depth, you're adding defensive help, you're adding arms in the back of the bullpen. But is it going to help you in the long run bounce back from the season you had last year? In my opinion, no. You need to go get better talent, but you're going to have to pay for it. And I just don't see that happening this year. They should. It makes all the sense of the world to at least go get a couple of these guys. Will it happen? Most likely not. Will it continue to frustrate us? Absolutely. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this latest video. Again, this is Orioles Today, where I am dropping brand new content every single day on all things the Baltimore Orioles. Offseason is here, free agency is here, and hopefully the Orioles will make a splash and make a difference for the 2026 season. As always, I am Sean Ferguson. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, please subscribe to the channel. That way you're getting daily notifications to all these videos. Thank you so much to everyone who has watched these videos, liked these videos, subscribe to this channel. It truly does mean a lot. Thank you again for tuning into this one. Please leave your comments down at the bottom, and I will see you guys on the next video.